feeling, I originally was feeling workshop in September.
Okay, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I think putting God first, I want to start off with prayer, and Brother Saber will actually lead us in prayer. Shall we stand, Papa? No, it's okay. Yeah, okay.
Wait, binafe. Osumaya. Ida ondo ni. Oduongo ya. Do wamukesero. Do bunyo. Do dunde handua. Dido wadawan. De duwe wabere wadido. Memeye. Aluko wamuti yen. Anichi wuduma friende. Uwini kwa bago. Doing. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Pastor Sego. Once again, welcome to this session. I must mention that we have been traveling the country. Our first stop, the last time, was we started off in Hopkins. From Hopkins, we visited Danbriga and spoke with the Danbriga branch. From Danbriga, we went to St. Mike and finished off at Georgetown. Very, very much interesting conversations. We shared information with them, and likewise, they shared some with us. So our subsequent trip was all the way down to PG, and we took a lovely boat ride all the way to Barranco. And from Barranco, we decided first for the branch on Friday evening at 7 p.m. Finish all around 10:30 in the evening. And in the morning early, we were boated off to Barranco. Very, very interesting trip as well. And we had, as a matter of fact, we had the biggest attendance in Barranco. We had about over 30, it was about 35, 37 people attending. So in a nutshell, that's our trip. And now we're here in beautiful Santa Elena, San Ignacio. But before we start off, before I hand over to our president, I think some introductions are in order. On my right, of course, is the president of the National Garifuna Council, Executive, Mr. Major Alex Norberto. Myself, his first vice president, Rafael Martinez, also a retired major. On my left is a good friend from Regalesian, and Maurice Herrera, the owner and operator of DYFA Radio. As a matter of fact, we are live right now, and he's our treasurer. Who is missing right now is our vice treasurer, who is Ifashina Ifiniemi. Sheena, who is our secretary. She's not feeling too well, so she's not here today. Our assistant secretary is Shari Sego Gordon. She's attending a funeral in Danbriga, so she won't be able to make it. Miss Mejia, she has other arrangements, so she's not here today. But nonetheless, we're here, and I think this is the time for you, Ms. Chris, if you want to introduce your members to us. I don't
sure. Good morning, Christopher Castillo, President, San Ignacio Santa Elena branch. On my right, I have my secretary, Sakai Valerio, our PR representative, Mr. Mancego, and we have a subcommittee, or organizing committee, headed by Ms. Gonzalez.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so it should be short and sharp. So without further ado, then I hand you over to the president, our president, Mr. Major Alex Norberto.
Thanks, Ralph, and thanks for hosting us. I do appreciate the standard. It's quite a nice place, and obviously you wouldn't have been able to acquire it without networking and interacting with the community. So please do keep up the good work. We appreciate the hospitality, and we look forward to making the best of the efforts that you've put in to host us today. So let me just transition into the presentation. Pardon my, how do I find Is this it? Yeah. Let's see. No, this is another one. I have too much thing on my machine. Let's close that because I'll pull up back. I did bouncing. Well, I was bouncing between the presentations just a while ago. All right, here we go. Here we go. So, rough did the introduction. This is a standard presentation that we've been making on our visits, and really the intent behind it is to, as outlined in the content, is to give our membership an overview of what NGC is about. We talk about our mission and vision, which is critical to the presentation and to our existence as a people. History, structure of the NGC, roles and responsibilities. The other organizations that we work with, networking is important, as I outlined just a while ago. Without networking, we would not have been able to acquire this wonderful venue for this presentation. And then we field some questions and we have a quick discussion. So I know it's important as well that we have a healthy discussion so we understand the dynamics of the branches. Every branch is different, and we want to understand the dynamics of the branches so that we can see how best we can facilitate or support the branches. As I keep saying, NGC is only as strong as the branches, so our intent is to strengthen the branches. So dealing firstly with the vision, the National Garifuna Council will be an integrated cultural group that preserves our heritage, history, language, food, clothing, and spirituality. Garifuna do in its totality from generation to generation in a sustainable manner in Belize and beyond. The vision is important because it outlines why we are here. Without a vision, then obviously we have no idea where we're going. And what I try to do is to have each branch embrace the vision, because in understanding the vision, it lends itself to continuity. Once we understand what the vision and mission is of the organization, any change in leadership continues to pursue the vision and mission, and there is continuity. Now, the issue of sustainability and generation is important, and hence the young people are also important to this conversation, because without our young people, there is no continuity. So in our efforts, our plan is also to strengthen and to rekindle the youth arm, and Raf will talk a bit more about that, how we bring back the young people on board to get them to enable continuity as our vision requires. The mission then, the National Garifuna Council will advocate for and secure the rights, development, and culture of the Garifuna in Belize while promoting economic sustainability, interracial harmony, and maintaining traditional respect for the preservation of the environment. So we are not an island. As a people, we have to interact. So how we interact with the other races is important. There are strengths in all these races. We are one race, human race, but we have our differences, our own peculiarities. But it doesn't mean that we can't work together, right? So the intent is for us to work together, but to preserve what is Garifuna, authentic Garifuna, right? Things like our traditional spaces, land rights, and so on, which will come up in the discussion, is important for our existence as a people. Without land, then we really don't have a future, and we're talking about our children, our young people as our future. So we have to secure land for them. So the fight for land rights, for example, or protecting our traditional spaces or cultural practices and so on, is critical. Right? So these are some of the things that we will discuss further as we move through the presentation. Now, young NGC, clearly older than a few of us here. We're 44 years old. So that's how long the NGC has been in existence. It's an NGO. Our founding fathers, for example, Fabian Cayetano, Roy Cayetano, and so on. Some of them are still living, and some of them have passed. But they had a vision way back 44 years ago, and they stood up the NGC, which is now, it's seen a series of changes, a series of change in leadership, and a series of approaches, different approaches to the way the organization has been managed. But we are here 44 years after, and our intent is to ensure the survivability of the organization, and hence the conversation surrounding continuity. It is an NGO, right? Not for profit, non governmental organization, and so resources are scarce, but it doesn't mean that we can't continue to operate. We just have to be creative in the way we um, we access resources, or in the way we look for resources, and in the way that we sell ourselves. And I know that the branches have similar challenges to acquire resources to promote the activities that you need to promote as a branch. Well, these are some of the things that the treasurer will speak to when he does his presentation um, shortly. So the structure is the same at the top as it is throughout the branches, right? And there's a reason for that. So it has depth, and it's designed that the organization doesn't fail. At no point there should be a leaderless NGC, or you shouldn't have somebody standing in the place of treasurer or secretary. So the same structure that exists at the top, at the executive, is the same that exists within the branches. The executive team comprised of a president, which is me. You have a first vice president, which is Raphael. You have a second vice president, which is Marsha. You have a treasurer, which is Maurice. You have an assistant treasurer, which is Ifa. You have a secretary, which is Sheena, and you have an assistant secretary, which is Shari. Right. So at any point, if the secretary is not here, you have the assistant secretary. If the president is not here, you have a vice president. If the treasurer is not here, you have an assistant treasurer. So this branch is designed the same way. So there has to be continuity. And I always implore that at a minimum you have these substantive positions being represented in the conversation. So your president or your vice president needs to be there. Your secretary, your assistant secretary needs to be there. Your treasurer or your assistant treasurer needs to be there. And we'll talk about the roles, the very important roles that each one of these positions hold as we move along the presentation. So, as I said before, the branches are designed the same way. As it relates to the board constitutes the delegates or the leadership at the various branches. So each branch has either one or two delegates, which constitute the board, which is made up of between 15 and 30 persons. So we have a huge board, but every branch is represented at the board level. So at no point in time, then, none of the branches should not have information coming out of the board. Why? Because you are represented on the board. So it is your delegate's responsibility to come back to the branches and pass on the information that comes out of the board, the strategic guidance that comes from the board. All right. So I mentioned before that we have 12 branches. They are located across the country. The map on the board shows you where they are. So we have Libertad, Orange Walk, San Pedro, Belize City, Belmopan, San Ignacio, Dangriga, Hopkins, St. Bite, Georgetown, Punta Gorda, and Barranco. Right? Those are the 12 branches. So we are spread across the country, but it doesn't change the fact that we have to talk to each other. And that is important, that we're able to talk to each other regardless of where we are. And we do this internationally. If not, people are spread across the world and we interact. All right? Thanks to technology, we're able to communicate with each other. So I spoke about the board briefly. We get our strategic guidance from the board. And right now, I think the board is about 22 persons strong. All right. On the headquarters, this executive team is a subset of the board, and we do the legwork for the board. So we are the ones who execute, get on the ground, meet the membership, push the strategies of the board, and then we brief the board at our board meetings, which is scheduled for quarterly at a minimum. All right. Now, you guys, through your election process, nominated delegates, and you have elections every year, every 2 years, sorry, right? Speaking to elections, the plan moving forward is to try to get elections done this year so that all the branches start off with a fresh slate for 2 years. Now, why is that important? It's important because when we do capacity building, we want to ensure that those elected have a full 2-year term that they can impart the knowledge that has been passed on to them through the capacity building exercise. We don't want to train you and then you have to left next week or next month or whatever the case is, right? So we want to have the benefit of that training over a span of 2 years, right? I know San Ignacio branch has its own peculiarities. We will discuss that. The president is here. I'm sure she has a concern. So that's one of the conversations that we're having as an executive team, and I think we will flesh that out even further through the discussion. The board is set up the same way, so the alignment will be across the organization, board members, branch members, and so on, so that strengthening affects the entire NGC. It is the duty of the branches and the delegates to ensure that their membership understands their status, whether they're financial members or non-financial members, whether they're members in good standing or members not in good standing. Now, what does that mean? The NGC Articles and Memo provides for a fee, a registration fee and a membership fee. That registration fee is $6 to register, to be a registered member of NGC, and $2 per month, right? Now, that equates to $30 per year. That is owing in January. If you recall the articles and memo, you are to pay your fee in January, right? $6 comes to national, which is this body here, and the $24 goes to the branches. What that allows for is for the branches to have that seed capital to do your fundraising early, and we should be doing activities every month, not just wrong 19th. Right, so we need to move away from that, because by the time 19 come and we try now do activities to try to raise the amount of money we need, we can. So you should be having activities every month based on that contribution from your membership. So membership in good standing is important because that gives you the monies to start up. Right, so we'll have to increase on the membership and membership in good standing. Now, it doesn't mean that we were chased with people because they don't want to pay their contribution. That's fine, but we have to encourage them and have them understand that, hey, we need your contribution so that we can work, right? But we allocate as well for members who are non-financial because we want the young people to join as well. Young people don't have money, but we're not chase them. We come in, contribute in kind, help with the barbecue sale, talk to your parents, make them buy, stuff like that, godly activities for the young people to attract them. So these are all the kind of work that we have to be doing. But your branch, each branch is responsible to ensure they keep a register of the financial and non-financial membership, or the membership in good standing and those who are not in good standing. And collectively as a whole, the organization will have a register of its membership, and we will know how much are financial members and how much are non-financial members. So when we have the conversation at the national level, we can say, hey, NGC comprises of 20,000 people, but of the 20,000 people, only 1,000 are members, financial members, right? So they know that, what, we broke, essentially, right? So I wanted this thing to skip, maybe. So those are your board members. I mentioned about 22 of them. The corp members are persons who have specific skill sets that we need in the organization. And so we bring them in. So I came in the organization because of my financial background. And so I was brought in to support the organization in that regards. And then I transitioned into the leadership position. All right, so there are opportunities. Similarly, what we recognize in these rounds of visits is that we lack capacity as it relates to project writing, and starting out or looking after funding for various projects that we may have. And we know that we don't have the financial standing to pursue all the things that we want to pursue. So we need to stand up that kind of capability within the organization. All right. Your delegate, where is San Ignacio? Shari. And as we mentioned, Shari is at a funeral for her dad, so she's not here. Right. So yeah, but this is what your board membership looks like. We are pushing for a board meeting early in September. So this gathering here hopefully can meet and discuss the way forward. And then we talked about the executive team, and those are the faces to the name. There we have Shari down there. Sheena, we know Sheena, she was a past president. IFA, Maurice is there. Marsha just came back from Urume with the Urume project. And then you have Ruff and myself. Yeah, so we are the ones leading the charge as it relates to moving the agenda forward. All right, so I've spoken to this already, so I'll just skip through this. The makeup of the executive team, you just saw them. That's a position. Now, I initially mentioned that we will get into a discussion surrounding the roles. So, as the president, I am in charge of moving the strategic agenda forward. I'm responsible for taking the guidance from the board and mobilizing the executive team to get those actions done. I also interact with the high-level partners and other partners who can assist us in any way, shape, or form. So there's a lot of conversations going on. We interact with a lot of organizations, and so we try as best to make ourselves available. It's a lot of work, and so I always try to rope in my vice president and eventually the second vice president, so we could share the workload and don't miss opportunities, because there's a lot of opportunities out there. But if we don't have the ear upon the ground, we will miss these opportunities. So yeah, I can also represent myself on any of the boards as an ex officio member, so that I am in tune with what's going on with the various boards. And there are a lot of boards in the organization, and so those have to be managed as well, because sometimes it gets really, really taxing trying to spread yourself that thin. Yeah, the committees, sorry. Yeah, a lot of committees, and you'll see some of them as we navigate the presentation. So similarly, as I mentioned before, I keep my vice president appraised of the situation, because in my absence, he has to be knowledgeable of what's going on and has to be able to step in. So the only way he can do that if it is that he's in the know. And I recommend the same thing at the branch level, so that there is continuity, right? So we need to move away from this hoarding of information. We have to share the information, right? So what the president know, the vice president is supposed to know. Similarly, what the secretary know, the assistant secretary should know, and what the treasurer knows, the assistant treasurer should know. So that in the event that any of them is absent, the other one can fit in. So the secretary, I keep saying, is a very, very important position. He or she is responsible for really keeping the organization grounded. I will start by saying that he or she needs to know the articles and memo to a T, like the back of their hand, so that they know how we are governed. That is important. And then you provide the guidance to the leadership, the president. It doesn't say that the president doesn't know it. The president definitely have to know it. But the treasurer needs to know it too, because in there provides guidance for things like notices, how long your notice period should be. You need to send correspondence to various key personnels, send out donation letters, answer emails, answer requests for meetings, all of these wonderful stuff, including registration of membership, documentation of minutes of meetings, and distribution. So it's a lot of work. And now in a technology age, you have to be savvy to work smart and not hard. It's easier now to take minutes using your computer, using AI, and you could spit out the minutes in an hour or less. I normally do it in less than 20 minutes. When the minutes meeting done, I get my minutes, put it together, and get rid of it quick, fast, and hurry, because I don't like these things to be piled up. And people want the information, right? So you send out the information. But the record keeping of the organization, documentation, and so on, is the secretary's responsibility. You're the custodian of all our records, land papers, for example, or documentation of our assets, whatever it is. That is the secretary's job. And so the assistant secretary as well has to fit in where the secretary is unavailable. And so you need to know, or he or she needs to know the roles and are able to swap between the roles. All right, so the treasurer is responsible for the finances of the branches, the national same functions, just at a higher level. So they're responsible for the budgets, for example, for the management of the inflows and expenses and the recording of these things, because you are required to report monthly to your president, and your president is required to report monthly to me how your branches are doing, so that I can report monthly to the board or quarterly to the board when I go to these board meetings and they ask me how are the finances of NGC. I have to be able to tell them, but the treasurer has to pass me that information in specific formats as well, and their standard reporting requirements and formats. So our next round of interaction will include the capacity building, where we will strengthen the branches and the executive team, board members included, as it relates to what your roles and functions are as a member of the leadership team at NGC, and your specific roles and functions as a treasurer, secretary, the president, and so on, so that you know exactly what is required. Similarly, we're going to talk through and establish templates for reporting, so everybody has a standardized template and reporting documentation. So whether the Barranco, Georgetown, Hopkins, and Bite, it is going to be the same across the organization, and everybody should be singing off the same song sheet, and we shouldn't be, we shouldn't be all over the place. We shouldn't be confused. All right, so that's a capacity building aspect of it. So finances are important because we have a calendar of events which require a lot of resources. And as I said before, we want to start our activities in January all the way through December. That no month should pass without an activity. But we also need to incorporate all the activities across the branches, so all the branches know what the other branches are doing. In the event that you can lend support to those other branches to strengthen their activities, right? There's nothing wrong with interacting and providing the support that is required. And that is where we want to get to as an organization. We want to work with each other. The branches work with each other, support each other, right? Learn from their experiences, and they can learn from yours. For example, PG branch has a good fundraising activity going on where they take trips to Honduras, for example, right? And they generate resources to fuel their 19th activities. Right, so these are some of the initiatives that we can learn from, right? But we have to talk to each other so we can learn from each other. Yeah, so the treasurer has a very important role. What we need to do is ensure that we are online. We have online banking. We have controls in place so that we manage our spending and we spend within our limits, and that we are able to report timely and accurately up the chain. So these are things that we need to work on. And so the assistant treasurer, like I said, has to be in the know. He or she has to know all of these things. So in the event that the treasurer, the substantive treasurer is not there, they can fit in. So we'll talk about some salient points from Articles 25 through 35. We know about quorum for meetings. You have to have quorum or else the decisions will be null and void. So consultation and communication is important, right? It's important that your membership are on board and they know what you're doing, right? Because you don't want to push one agenda that they do not support, or else it's going to fail, all right? Now, the national is responsible for the management of all the assets under NGC. And we have approximately $1.3 million in assets across the organization. It is predominantly fixed assets, land and buildings. And what we've been witnessing is a reduction in our balances as a consequence of the costs associated with carrying these assets, right? So they come across more as an expense than anything else. And so what we need to do is to look at how best to manage these assets, right? So that's something that we also need to talk about. I don't know if Kayo, San Ignacio branch, has a building space, a space of their own, have one piece of land where they could call their own, have a shelter that they can call their own. So these are all things that we want each branch to have their own spaces. But it will take some doing, and it will take some effort on the side of the branches, with the support clearly of national and our people. So these are things that we can work on, right? Excellent. So, right. So the branches need to have their own strategic objectives in line clearly with the national objectives, right? So that you all can stand up on your own and continue to advance the agenda, the vision, and mission of the organization. So we talked about the calendar of events. There are some important dates. They're on the wall. Garifuna Exile Day, Garifuna Survival Day. You know, these dates are important to us, and we need to ensure that the visibility is there, that our membership and the wider Belizean society understand the importance of these days and why we celebrate these days. And it also provides an opportunity for us to do some fundraising as well. All right. This year, the pageant, the national pageant, will be held in Belize City on the 1st of November. And so it's important that you all start to find your candidates and start to train up your candidates, right, so that they are well prepared for when they go to Belize City, and that you have good representation. Tribute to TV Ramos Day, Garifuna Awareness Day, Garifuna Settlement Day, 19th of November as well. This year, it's going to be held, the official ceremonies in Dangriga again, but we're having conversations surrounding moving it to the larger municipalities. So maybe next year, it may be in Belize City or Punta Gorda, for example, right? But 19, the official ceremony, right? Dangriga will still have their parades and chingding and whatever they do, but the official ceremony, we're looking at rotating it to the larger municipalities as well. Yeah. So there are other days which are not on the calendar, but as I said before, you have to promote your own branch. So you have activities going on in your immediate area that you can mobilize and participate in and generate revenue or income from those activities, revenues from those activities that can support your efforts when it comes to 19. That you don't have to really go broke your back and try to figure out how you want to generate the kind of resources that you need. In addition to that, we are trying to work on building a relationship with the diaspora. We have a lot of Garifuna people in the US, Honduras, Guatemala, Nicaragua, that are willing to support us. So if you know you got a cousin, call the cousin and say, hey, you want to participate, you want to be a member. They can be a member of NGC and they can be a member in good standing, even if they're not Atlanta or LA. Because at the end of the day, 15 US is not a lot of money. Think about it. Right? So you need to reach out to your people, right? Because there are a lot of people out there who want help, but there has to be transparency and accountability as well. They want to say, where to do it then $15. And those are nothing. People want to know where to do it then $15 US. Right? So I mentioned networking. We work with BENIC, which is the Belize National Indigenous Council. It is the representative body for indigenous people. It includes, and there are only two indigenous groups in this country, Maya and Garifuna, but the Mayans are broken down as outlined there, Yucatec, Mopan, Quechua, right? But we form BENIC, and BENIC has long reach, and by that I mean they're very influential. And as we can attest, the Mayans are very influential people. They are a strong group. And so it's important that we're able to align ourselves with the Mayan. We not require with the Mayans. We might have the differences, which is fine. Everybody have differences. But there's no reason why we can't harmonize and advance our agenda as well and learn from them. It is my plan to interact with them more and to understand how they do what they do, tell them what our challenges are, and see how best they can help us to achieve our objectives too. Because we don't want to get left behind, right? We were the ones who first trained them. We are the educators. We were the ones who schooled them, and now the opportunity is here for them to assist us. That's how I see it, right? They're well ahead of us with this fight for land rights, and they're well established in relation to their secretariat and how they do business, and we want to get there. And so my intent is to interact with them more to understand how they do what they do and see if they can assist us. We have representative on Benek as well, and on the board are our members. Sheena, I think, is the vice chair of Benek, if I'm not mistaken. So the membership changes from time to time. I don't know when the next election is or the next change of leadership is, but I am sure that I may get an opportunity as well to be a member on the board at Benek. And I can then better advance our agenda as a people. BNN, Belize Network of NGOs, again, another partner organization. So through them, we have access to the 13th senator who's responsible for all the NGOs, and she's able to then speak to our agenda when she goes into the Senate, for example. So through BNN, we're able to share our plight or challenges with the senator, who then shares it with the government. Also, we have very frequent meetings with the minister responsible for Indigenous Affairs, our minister, and he has been very, very supportive in our conversations and meetings. As you all may be aware, we're advancing MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, which is a governing document that covers a lot of the issues that we have. And that document will allow us to advance our agenda further. And so we've shared it already, and we're waiting for feedback. But through BNN, and again, you will note that Sheena is the vice chair. She's the president. She was the past president, and she sits on BNN as well. So there are opportunities for Garinago to be heard at the highest level. We just have to use those relationships. Now there's the Language Commission, the Garifuna Language Commission, which is led by Darius and his team, Battle of the Drum Secretariat. They are advancing one of our strategic objectives, which is the preservation of language culture through drumming, music, and so on. Garifuna in School program, teaching Garifuna in school. And so they're doing a wonderful job, and it is my intent to continue to support them, because at the end of the day, NGC in and of itself can't do everything. So we have to partner with other organizations, Garifuna-led organizations in particular, to advance our agenda. And so Darius, and we've met, as Raf said, last week in PSG with Darius and his team. We've identified some of our challenges and our strengths, and we've figured out a way how to work together for the rest of this year, and also in the future, how we cement our working relationship via an MOU, which is an existing document. I was made to understand that there is an MOU in place with Battle of the Drums, so it's just a matter of revisiting that and ensure that it's working the way it should be working. So the intent is to have Garifuna being taught in all the schools. Just like how you teach Spanish in all the schools, I want them to teach Garifuna in all the schools. All right, so, but it's a work in progress. It's a lot of work. So it's like Gwen and Rita and Rachel, who joined the team recently. They need additional support, right? They need resources. The budget is always a challenge. I know Darius and his team are asking for resources from the government. We'll see how it works. But whatever we can do to help them, we need to help them, right? So that strategic objective, which is our objectives as Garifuna, is advanced.
So, Mr. President, that the Language Commission is very, very, it's a very important commission where, as the President mentioned, it's something that quite a few of us have lost our language. It's the reason why we have this conversation in English instead of Garifuna. I'm sure quite a few of you will be struggling to answer and speak as well. So, hence the reason, and the thing is, the Minister of the Indigenous Affairs is Mr. Dominic, and he's very much on board. I don't know if he gets on that agreement, as a reference, but he's very much on board with us. He has given all the indications he's working with. He will work with us and he will push the Garifuna agenda. So that's a very big plus that we have on both sides.
And do your part. Teach your picnic in Garifuna. Right? So that's good. We've lost it in our households, and so we have to practice it. It starts with the household, right? So let's start there. All right. So the other issue, land rights there's a land rights committee. I don't know how active they are, but essentially, land rights have been an age-old problem and protecting our cultural spaces and so on. So we've been doing some work in the past because we're trying to see how best to protect our cultural spaces and our traditional spaces. And that MOU, as I mentioned, captures some of that, right? We've outlined specifically our traditional spaces, including keys, because we know how important the keys are to us for things like Dogo and Jogo and these type of things as well, right? And our livelihood period, the land, we're joined at the hip. Without the land, we can't survive as a people, right? And so we have to protect our spaces, just like how the Mayans protect their spaces. The only thing is that we are approaching it slightly different. We don't want a confrontation with the government. We're taking a participatory type approach. So, you know, they understand where we're coming from and we understand their concerns as well, and we're moving it along in that regards. And so far, it's been going well. So that MOU, once signed, provides that foundation that will allow us to further deepen our roots into the soil, as in our spaces will be protected and we'll have a future. We will be protecting the future for our children. And so that is a wider conversation, and everybody needs to be talking about it, because and we have to be echoing why the land is important, because our view of the land is very different from an investor or somebody who does not have that attachment to the land. Whereas we see the land as sacred, they see it as an opportunity for development, right? And then that will trump our view, because we're not vocal enough. We don't say, hey, this is our cultural space or traditional space. This is why it is important to us. This is why it needs to be protected. When they will come and say, well, hey, I could put this big resort there. It will generate so much job, X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. And that will trump, anything, because we're not saying much really as a people, but we need to, and then we also need to utilize the spaces, right? So this shift away from our culture and our traditional way of doing business is to our own detriment, you see. So us becoming Americanized and Europeanized and so on is affecting us severely, because now we can't compete. That is their culture, that is their way of doing things. They are 20 miles ahead of us, and then we try to play catch up. When we have our way of doing things, we are ahead of them, right? But because we want to emulate them, we now end up behind, right? So we need to be sensible about how we look at things, right? Traditional way of doing things isn't bad. We are ahead of the curve, but we just don't recognize that, and that's where we're failing as a people, right? The Mayans, they recognize that early, and they are ahead of the curve, and they maintain that, right? They are ahead of the curve, and we want to get there. Mr. Sego, sure, raise your hand.
Yeah. While you were giving your talk, my mind flashed on the president of Zimbabwe, William Lemle,
Mm-hmm.
when 2 years ago, when they were with the gestation in Zimbabwe,
Right, I remember that.
he had an argument, and the argument was that the gestation was just like a yard away from the temple that was in his yard.
Mm-hmm.
And because of ancestral spirits and the things that the ancestors will tolerate or not tolerate, that gestation should have been moved from the system. It cannot be close to an ancestral designed place. I mean, he was not.
He lost that fight, right? Yeah. So, and we weren't there to support him the way we should have been, and so he lost, and we're losing the fight to development. That is how the Westerners view it, as development, and we're so immersed in a capital-based society that money comes first. It trumps everything: tradition, religion, you name it. Money comes first. So, in understanding that, we have to then understand how important it is to protect our traditional spaces. The Carib reserves are there, but we are not managing the Carib reserves the way we should be managing them, and we're losing ground there. And we had a conversation in PG surrounding the Carib reserves as well, and what is going on there. There's Carib reserve in PG, there's Carib reserve in Bandiga, but we don't manage these spaces the way we should, and so we're losing the grip on these spaces. Right? As someone research,
Yeah,
that's his thing.
I can get rid of. Yes, you hit a real soft spot there, Mr. Siego. As I was, my team was very integral in trying to spread awareness on that situation in Saint and this is what this executive is trying to spread awareness on all of our issues. That's just only one of the issue. A very, very critical situation there when it comes to our, and you can see our spirituality. We need to do a lot more. We go all over the place, but we don't practice. We don't discuss it. We don't talk about it. There's nothing. That's one of the things that I really really into preserving our spirituality, and that we have at the time, which is still there. That would have never happened. So that's hence the reason why we need to educate our people about our spirituality and everything. If I was in the village council at Garifuna and knowing that the location for that was not feasible, it's not that we don't want development, but we got to be careful with development. The village council themselves could have said, "Hey, Mr. So and so, hey, this location won't work because our temple is our the Weber is a sacred ground for us." So they have no respect. If we don't have respect for our sacred ground, who else will have respect? And Isimba is a predominantly a Garifuna settlement. Then I could bet more than 80% of that council are Garifuna. So they should have stood up and say, "Hey, no, we can't happen, yeah. You go further down, because we could still access the gas station. Why not going to Maya Beach? You think the white people don't gonna talk about? You think they will allow that to happen there? And they're minority, right? So I just wanted. I know I'm going on and on with that now because I'm very passionate about the.
Yeah, but so these are some of the things that we have to look at as a people. This weekend is Invite Day. People are there to drink rum, party. We are a party people, and it's with that distraction that we get swiped, right? It's 19 to become the same way. It's just rum and dance and throw away yourself, right? And then we don't get nothing from it. Right? While we're drunk now, then the thief way.
Eyes wide open.
So we need to be focused as a people, and I think that's where we've lost our way, and we need to come back to the proper way of doing things.
Just before Mr. Stable, there's something that we have done way back in the past where that was initiated by the NGC. I think under the leadership of my memory serves me right, under the leadership of Mr. Roy Caetano, where our brothers and sisters in Honduras were going through the same. They're still going through it, as a matter of fact, where the land is being taken away and they want to take away. The government is actually behind it, trying to take away our brothers and sisters' land, our Garifuna brothers and sisters' land in Honduras, and to making way for resorts. So the NGC at the time, were very instrumental in our resources, because while the difference is that our Maya brothers are in the hinterlands, way to the back. Nobody want to live back there, right? But when they see the nice sandy beaches, everybody want to go to the beach. So we have a different fight. And as the president mentioned, just to reiterate and to support the president, we need to be smart how we go about doing this. You attract fly with leaf honey, not with vinegar, all right? And sometimes you can't fight fire with fire. So we are trying to see how best we could actually package this in such a way that it's palatable, that the government want it, and then they take ownership of it as well. So that's the direction we're trying to go.
Ralph, we are on demise, and it's still happening right now. And you have, and I will, this is an open meeting. We are free to say what we got to say respectfully. We don't want any distraction from our own people. We want our people to understand what we're trying to do. I know that they want the land situation to be resolved right now. They want all these things to be resolved right now. Give us the opportunity to have this fight, a peaceful fight, a dialogue that will yield success. We have seen that, like you mentioned, the Mayan have done it. You know, um, there's a landmark decision in Honduras. You mentioned to last week where they had a case going, and I don't know if it's San Juan, it's not, but it's somewhere in Honduras. But it was on the news that the landmark case, the Garinago in Honduras, they won that case last week. So we want to congratulate our brothers and sisters out there for doing. I think that was Miss Marcia Herrera and a group of them that that was fighting the government for the last 3 or 4 years, and now there was a victory in land as a major development, resort style that you mentioned, wanted to occur, and the people stood up, took the government to court, and that they won that case. So that's a landmark decision.
Thank you. When there was that discrepancy of the gas station, the owner of Publix, his name was Edward.
One.
Huh?
One.
One?
One. Yes.
Yes.
He
He came.
So we could say his name is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came to me and came to a fellow by the name of he had a small little shop from here to the glass. The lantern was bigger than it, all angles. Carlton Augustine, they call it Ballet. Carlton.
Well, you could call him.
Yes. Yeah, this is a meeting. Well, if you are paying the pass, you could take inventory. Because he said it is very, very mager. All right. Mr. Huang, tell me we want to have a meeting with Augustine because the gas station will affect his building. He will not be seen properly. And the man, don't say that. So he told him, my friend. So I was like, but no, because man, you didn't know that's village. And why? So the man, tell her, I'm not coming here. This meeting is not for us to argue. But I am willing to set up a big cement building for you. Give you as much groceries that you need and support you, my brother. Because I will have affected you in some way and I'm willing to. Yes. So the man, a little boy was passing by and Juan gave the boy $10 to go and the tree cook. One boy went and the tree cook and gave the one, gave Carlton one, and one is, his attitude in the limelight of receiving help was very, very nasty. So the man told me, well, I will let you think about it, but I can give you like $5,000-6,000 worth of groceries, and I can build a building for you, and it won't hurt me. So I can help you. So I know why you're helping. You're not on us. Let's go to my yard. And I just shake my head back and say, boy, this man to get ice cream. I didn't have to pay back nothing. The man to give me that. And the man will take it.
Well, Carlton, I'm with Carlton, to be honest with you. I'm with him. Because of the kind of point with money, I'm calling cream, and you know, I cream me. You have to look. Carlton has seen in the future what would have affected that 5,000 a house and stuff with all the possible environmental that might happen in the future. No money can pay that. When we have right now, we have a lot of cancer going around. This never happened in our last 20-30 years. Everybody they have cancer. So he might, at the moment, he might say, yeah, why I think I'm not doing that. Of course, that's not what they do when they do it for people. They call it sugar way up. And when they sugar way up after that, so, yeah, the stories are like, yeah, so I understand that, man. And this happened in my communities when I want to try to build roads to some, no, that road might have more damage than what you think.
The issue is though that saves the Mayan community is that they have a system, their alcala system and their communal system, and that allows for collective discussion surrounding land. And the land tenure system that currently exists, which allows for private ownership, sort of provides that wedge that allows for us to easily lose our traditional spaces. And again, because we're so much into capitalism, money is everything. For most people, people will sell out, and that is what has been happening, particularly in CNB. We've lost the beaches, and we end up now being relegated to the back in some way. Hopkins is the same thing is happening there. All them big resorts and stuff on the beach, and then so development is to our own detriment as a people.
I think that's one 2 cents more before President carry on, because we have that more things to cover. This land issue is so important to us and our future generation that I want to take Barranco as an example, because Barranco is directly affected by this land rights issue that the Maya are claiming. They have quite a few Garifuna families in Barranco that they can't touch the land. That is property, their property, on paper, but because the land is in question, they can't cultivate it. They have to let it as is until this dispute is over. But this land is over. So it's so deep. This land issue is so. We have to protect what we have. We can't strong back what they don't take already. As the president mentioned, it's a form of government we have. You could actually buy a piece of land anywhere in this country, literally, well, except in the Maya lands. Mm-hmm. But I mean, what you have now, try to keep it. Like what Mahobob say, no sell a land to go. Right, so try to keep your land.
And I'd like to interject something here. About 14 years ago, everybody familiar with the guy Pele, Honduras who used a body club, Carlos Martinez. Pele called me one day, he told me, "Why put it in Cuba?" Sat right there, they were there, and he said, for example, Christian. Anyway, so I went and I did. So I went and I did the research on everything, and I got everything. But I had to go to Honduras. And it was there I came across a powerful guy there. And he was a person of India, and he was fighting for the liberty of the person of India.
Sound check.
You get funding from different organizations and still like building for books. He was the person responsible for orphanage. Person responsible for orphanage. And underneath his umbrella was a guy called Wayuhuru Lightning. His name was Herman Crisanto was the name of the guy. He was the leader and choreographer, one of the biggest Garifuna folkloric dancers there in Honduras. When they moved on tours like 3 months, 4 months.
These are the kind of collaborations that we need, and I think we need to get back to that because we don't have it here in Belize, but we could partner with our brothers and sisters in Honduras, Guatemala, Nicaragua, who have these established groups that can come here, and we could see the potential of our people. You see? So we need their connections.
Yeah. So Celso has connection with every donating agency in the world. He could get this from whatever Honduras wants for the Garifuna people in his area, he can get it. When was time for him to go to Amsterdam with his group? Everything came easy. Planes, flight, hotels, for the performance was 11. So, but the whole thing was that, so I asked him, whether airman, kasama was answering, Lu Wayuhuru. He said, why, during the slave trade, my grandfather had traced down the family tree, and my grandfather's name was Wayuhuru. He was like me. So I decided to be a legacy of my grandfather. I went to the registry of births and deaths, and I changed my name from Herman Crisanto to Herman Wayuhu. So he's lightning. Yes, and it was from 1991. I have not seen that guy. But anytime he speaks, new information, cultural information come out.
You think the man still living or what?
Why? If I ask my brother, Peter Wayne.
We'll find out, because these are the connections that we need. And if we could still make these links and leverage these relationships, Raf, point them to Raf, and Raf could continue to build that relationship.
I'll be honest with you. I have one of the experiences because I did with National Garifuna Council.
There you go.
At the National Garifuna Council, I was in the National Garifuna Council when we went to Puerto Barrios after an old man there. But we want to form a Garifuna Confederation of Belize, Honduras, Guatemala. I forget the name of this woman. But anyway, we went. We had Amistad. We have another, I think, I forget the difference between the group from Livingston and the group from Puerto Barrios. One the Amistad, and next one the group of Garifuna or something. Then we have Ofrane from Honduras, National Garifuna Council. We went together to Honduras to form a national, like a confederation, Garifuna Confederation.
Yeah, we have to continue these national and international relationships. But that's something that this networking, and we spoke about networking and working with other organizations to advance the Garifuna agenda. So I also mentioned some of the committees, and in your branches, you can stand up some of these same committees. The challenge is that you might find yourselves spreading yourself really thin if you have a lot of committees, and especially if these committees are not working. So, Madam President, you have to decide what committees you need and try to get members who will work. We got people like Giant Committee and so on, but they're not like work. And these volunteerism in itself is a lot of work.
I agree.
Right? So you need to handpick and pick people that will advance the agenda of the organization. All right. So I chair the Memo and Articles Committee, Review Committee. So I'm very familiar with our memorandums and articles, and so I'm able to do this presentation and share with the team how we work. And that is still a work in progress, and hopefully we'll be able to present that to the board, and they will be able to flesh it out further, and we can come up with a working draft at some point that we can then have at the convention, maybe for next year, a ruling on the new convention or the new articles and memo, because it has to be a document voted on by the masses and the membership. All right. We have a media and communication committee headed by Rafaela, and Ifa and Maurice is on there as well. And we have other committees, finance, which is important for fundraising and accessing resources that you will need. So you can pick from that whatever committees you think to be important for yourself, that will help you to advance the agenda of the branch. One thing that I can recognize straight away is that you need to build a membership, one, with adults clearly, and two, with the young people. So that's something that we can definitely, we'll talk about some more and see how we can assist you in mobilizing your membership. And I would also add that, give a general invitation to our Garinagu, because I think Whether you're a member in standing, that is another conversation. We don't pick your career on you have to be a member in this. So these are some of the nuances that we can provide for, but membership is important. That we're doing this for others. Right? This is a type of it's not an agency.
Win-win situation.
I got my views on this committee on these committees as well. There's a lot of issues that we identify, and other communities identify their issues as well. And I believe that that's the purpose of of these different committees. For instance, I think that's what should be added on a committee probably is advocacy. Oh, it's already there. Sorry, we were Tanago. We were now advocacy committee. I truly believe that we have issues in our community, like discrimination, right? Discrimination in the workplace in our communities. If I have a committee that address that, says so you have a point of contact where people call and say, you know what, I use Hoodies. I think that would place name Nakayo. At the work there, and then you find out that the supervisors alone me they want to make they go do this or they got I'm just say use that kind of example, right, where our people, our Garinago people, could call and say this happened to me at the workplace, and maybe if that committee is set up, they're able to guide that individual and say, hey, we got a labor man pa speed dial. You could help that person. You know what I mean? We have to address real issues in our community that's affecting our people. So when we work as a group, NGC, we properly represent our people in every situation they may be.
Capture, MOU, non-discrimination, right? So we've looked at that as well, and that is embedded in our MOU. No, I will be honest with you, I have not fully taken over any of these committees, so I don't know who the members are.
Well, Mr. President, this
But out of them, but there are a lot of committees, like I said, so we have to
so the branches could establish these same committees, right? These identical committees. So correct.
It sounds good and all right. I know it is there and it should be happening. However, here in the community, it's very, if you notice, like I mentioned, the number of attendees is poor. You don't really get the support from the rest of the community.
But if you see when it
I last year before November, because we started to do already rounds from in August, like now. And yes, we myself and Valero, we have been out there on the road for 2 feet. We meet with different Garinagos who used to be active with NGC within the Twin Towns. And for some reason they just choose not to be here or not to be with us.
See, Madam President.
And we try when I tell you everything we tried everything that we think will work.
I think even with supporting us in like sales and so forth, it's always like to me, it's a Spanish.
You see, and this is what I want to talk about. This is something when a 1,000-pound tree drop in the middle of the jungle. Some people ask if it make noise. But if nobody here does it make any noise? I don't think so. Likewise, people, a lot of, like for example, I had a president of the city, and the least city, most of our supporters are non-Garifuna people. And trust me, they did everything with the Shikian and everything. We have to acknowledge these people who sponsor. But what I'm saying is that that committee is a communication and media committee. You had mentioned earlier, Mr. Valeria, that you're a media person.
No.
their communication?
No.
Or Mr. Sego?
Mr. Sego is our PR.
All right. No, me and Mr. Sego will have a chat because, let's say, this is news at your fingertips. Recognize the flyer?
Yes, sir.
All right, this is news at your fingertips. Man, just put it up today. You should have put it up yesterday, but I just see it today. So this is one of the things there where we get the message across. I had called Love FM this morning, so we made up on Love FM. They talk about it. Armin spoke about it this morning on Love FM. I'm sure we have this on Facebook.
Yes, we do.
What I'm saying, there's a new guard, there's a new team in town, and people have their own skeptical reasons why trust are one of the big issues. Because of the openness, people think they hide things, because things are things. So they think that you have stash money somewhere. People need to know, and from time to time, you have to share information. Listen, one time there's no communication between two entities. I mean, whereas there's exchange of information, there's no communication. Communication, man, that feed. I talk to you, you understand, and you give me a feedback. And if I don't get no feedback from you, the communication don't exist. So that communication media committee, very essential, and hence president has organized a president group committee, group chat, and I want to a media group chat as well. So we could share this kind of information. We have one barbecue sale, we have this, we have that. Make we know. So we could support each other, as we mentioned before. These days are communication right by your fingertips. So if you have something and nobody know about it, man, we supposed to know about it. Make we help you. Make we, work together as a team. Get the young people engaged because we need young people. Every move we make, as I always say, young people don't know the future but not the present. We have to get them involved. And the older we get, sometimes the generation gap get too wide. So the intergenerational exchanges start getting more and more difficult because the young people in the right here are we there over here. So we have to see how we could bridge that gap and bring in our young people, even through dance, but we have to engage them with things that they like. You can't have them just having a presentation like this. You have to engage them and go to where they are. Whether in school, whether maybe in a game, like Maurice has his football, he dealing football as young people. Right, battle the drums. You get them wound and nipples. You get dance.
We have planned, like I said, 2026 should be a better year for us.
Yeah.
After we get the new executive.
When is your election?
It was supposed to be in January, but based on what you guys mentioned earlier, we could do it after 19.
Yeah.
Then we could do it probably in December.
And having election necessarily means that you have to promote it. They could vote you right back in. Right? So not necessarily means that you have to.
This media thing, getting membership increase is very vital because it happens in all our communities. The meeting, like you said, Barranco, I never gone. I was out of the country, but I was shocked. Honestly, I was shocked that Barranco had the highest turnout. Griga, poor turnout. I'd have a Griga and I tell you poor turnout. And I could tell you why. Because of the past. The people stick to that. So no matter what, NGC that was sore enough for their mind. So in order for healer sore when we got Yaga. NGC is a Yaga right now. But they got cure for Yaga and we have to find that and we have to distribute that medicine for Yaga and this executive be the cure. And it's hard because then we have to go meet the people just like how we meet the executive. They want a lot of the time ask, who they present as San Ignacio? Nobody know. Who they present as Griga? Nobody know. Why? Because we don't go out to the people. And then all and events not only go out to Garifuna events. So Sphere right there, you can put a booth. They not tell you no. Because when we have fair, they bring the merry-go-round thing. We got full up the whole park. We don't know about that, but like Mr. President said, they want human thing. Any festival, Verdes there, right? That's all. Verdes game, you got Garena go to play park, you got Felix Martinez, you got Bounty Lopez, the killer. you know, and I know all of them. So all these activities, you gotta market right there where people rush through to come for wherever. Cause right now people they shop for clothes for back to school and things like that. They want to stop in the market. How about Garifuna boat? That could work out. You know, market day. I could.
Because what you guys are saying, I never bring my book because I said my secretary had the hijab today, right? Because he was ill and I feel in for him. As a president, I am filling the gap. But the last meeting we had, this is what we were discussing. This is what we have in our 2026 plan. And I'm hoping that everything goes as we are planning.
But what is the last one? That's what I still trying to understand. As you could have all these plans, capital to execute, and so on. I think the first order of business is to try to make a house. We are not going something nice or
I will
something.
try again. We will try
And
again.
if we can
And I
do
will not
anything
stop.
to help you, please let us know.
I know if you're there.
Right? We can call our people, call them, we know them individually, send them a message, call them, and make them meet all of them.
There's a handsome.
Right?
He didn't happen to know.
Call them out, and they are, not then they are.
But then we go to
But you need a new strategy. Make them sometimes feel like that they run things. Cause some people just like feel that way.
The branches now have to carry on the work of the executive, right? We are only as strong as the branches. So this work now you have to now further develop within the branches, get an increase in membership, right? So you can get the seed capital that you need, so you could continue to fundraise and turn over money.
Great.
So when 19, because I show all of them come out around 19,
Oh yes.
right? Now the only
Achacha.
19 now the base are run down the roof seed. Like you want to know where they go from.
Yeah.
Here, it is different. Here it's kind of different. Last year, due to the flooding last year, we had a good turnout. But the previous year, the town was packed. But how the people come to the others come out and go.
Make us some question.
Then it's not a night. They don't want to know DJ. They want German play all night. They don't want to break. Yes, but we just went to the Germany first hand.
Rotate the drummers.
Drummers, 4 drummers.
Let me ask you this. Maybe one of you answer this. What all the media outlets here in telling us? Name them for me. The media outlets.
Andy, Pastor Yaka.
They got Pandy show.
Yeah.
The one on top of the hill. Oye? The Oye? No, no Oye. Which one on top of the hill?
Oh, that Faith FM.
No.
The one that Santa Cruz?
The one for Carlpitch. The Carlpitch there.
Oh.
There's a radio station. They don't got a local radio station here.
That's why that Faith FM. Then they got Horizon radio station.
Yeah.
Then
Double
Max.
Bridge.
So where the one Mr. Salazar name? Max, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I honestly, when it comes to
they have
when it comes to
TNN, right?
TNT.
TNC. Listen, whenever you have any activity, write a letter, and all of the people they have their followers. Send only press release.
And PhD, we have connections. I have enough who's affiliated. Raf knows these people.
So we could actually get
our
our message out.
But again, there's a media and communication committee headed by Raphael, so we should get in touch with Raphael.
So I could touch base with the media people person. And then remember, I'm asking one question before we move on. Queen, we don't have any queen this year.
Okay, let Mr. Kyle respond to that.
Can't whenever the queen committee.
Yes, because that is his portfolio.
All right, so for us, we sent out letters before school closed. We have some school that actually contact us back stating that they will send a representative. We wanted to do an actual pageant here in the Twin Tongues. We are just looking to see when school reopens, which our school will actually send a delegate. If by any means that we can only get one person that would be our delegate for this pageant.
Try and get one first. Try your best to get one.
Oh yeah, we're trying as hard. Like what the principals they said is that the time was too late due to graduation and school is closing. So the information is sent out to the parents as well. But they did mention to me as soon as school open, they will reach out back with a delegate. So we actually did the high school and primary school. I'm not too sure what age is the person.
The last one who won was 14.
Okay.
So we go 14.
Okay, 14.
The precedence has been set.
And
Until somebody said different.
and we already have our
But there's a Queen committee who will meet later who it's determined.
determined. Okay, that's nice.
But 14 was.
We already have our
September.
everything planned out for that queen.
But let me just advise on this Valerie, because as I've mentioned before, I in the city, we never have no pageant for 7 years. And when I took over, we have 7 candidates. It's another Bolito right, Rick.
Tomorrow?
But we had 7 of them, and the girls had somebody can't talk about word in Garifuna. And we have people just bring them up, but the earlier identify these girls, a lot of them want to be there.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we just have to engage with them and ensure we have somebody, one of our whole Garifuna personnel, somebody who talks Garifuna fluently, to bring them up and write their thing in English first, their speech and whatever, and then on the translated gradually.
We
already have them.
You understand what I say? So,
All of them are one candidate, right? So, I would know one of the complaints has been that they only feel one candidate. So the idea to have this Garifuna, Santa Elena, San Ignacio, it's a good idea. That way you have a field of candidates, and then you can then feel the best one from the national pageant.
Yes, that's what we're
think
doing.
about 5, but if you have 3, run a 3. But
And-
you think about 5.
We're doing it for both male and female actually.
Oh yeah?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Garifuna.
Yes. On the first, I think it was the
Maurice.
second.
I don't worry, sound like
The
that.
Garifuna. Mr. Garifuna. Leading them away. Yes, our king won in 23.
The one last year we had a delegate or candidate, and last minute he had death in a family.
So he doesn't.
So we never want to go up on a stage and like close relatives.
But a year before, our delegate actually won.
That I remember, sir. Yeah, but we should have one this year. We will.
Both male and female will have this year actually.
Okay.
And we already have our plans set out
Well,
and the speeches and everything.
Okay, well, we look forward to it because, we want. And listen, I know San Ignacio Branch don't have a lot of Garifuna around, or we need a better. If you want to organize something and you need maybe our assistance, we don't tell them I do the work for you, We will facilitate some processes.
If you notice, yes, we need more people on board.
How we know people?
Sarah, if you know me too well, I'm a very determined person. If I said this will get done, I will make it get done. By hook or crook, even if I have to take it out of my pocket.
Well done.
Like last year, everything what we did, Carl was there, out of my pocket.
No one burden it over.
No, really, not really that.
What?
What?
Say so bad.
You have it like that?
But if I was like I know there are procedures and process and protocols, but if I have a timeline and a time frame and a deadline, I know the council will get, but I will do it in advance so that it could happen.
I feel you
Before that day.
because I had the same thing.
I don't like failures and me not like my name get checked anymore.
No, hence the reason why we say I always tell people this are volunteer. Nobody get paid.
And
Right? For the president, nobody get paid. For the president or all executive. And a lot of the time, as you rightly mentioned, if you want to see something happen, you gotta take it out of your pocket.
the only thing I could
I just
say-
close my eye and make it happen.
Right.
I just take it out, I put my
Yes,
hand.
that's why I do it.
Sometimes I feel different things in my pocket. I say, cut this out.
The only thing I could say, here in the Twin Towns, we have our mayor's 100% support.
Yeah, he's a nice man.
And I don't care what nobody say, that man, you just thinking about it. And you just have to go there or you just call him, or just send him one message, and once he's calm,
What you
yeah,
need to
the
do
what
with
you
that
need to
mayor
do.
before the November season, you give him a nice that she can present it to the mayor.
We have that plan.
Right? Present it to the mayor.
Right,
19th of November.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Ensure
have that. We have it that she can
yes.
already.
We'll have a media there. We'll have people who will come in on a nice t-shirt, make a look uniform, and make it be a media event. So maybe the same time you present your calendar of events, you could do that together. As you present your calendar of events, make it a local media issue, a media
We should do
thing,
it then.
and then you have a program.
Fashion show or the night when you do the flag raising.
But
But how to have the mayor
not
there?
only that, you could call
Yeah,
DYFA too. We
All right, there we go.
call us
There we
and
go.
Okay,
you
in
know,
that
call
case,
DYFA, we
yeah,
will tell you
call
yes or
DYFA.
no.
Yeah, call DYFA.
Most of the time we will say yes, but I'm just saying we travel around the country and around the world, so we will, especially for our people, we will come.
Visibility
Right?
is important.
Exactly. Because as a matter of fact, a lot of our viewership is from St. Ignace, St. Helena. I don't know, in Benke we have a lot. I don't know why in Benke, but we appreciate the support out there in Benke Viejo. Okay, that's why I'm just saying we have a lot of supporters from there.
The last time we spoke, I think
You should have coincided today. Oh, okay.
Right? So give us a call and we'll one or two times just for visibility. We will make our way over to San Ignacio.
Every opportunity, you can use the survey though, and if it, rest they're not interested.
I think we should, when the time comes, I want to get in touch with
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Herrera. Reason being, every activity that we have, we usually use Mr. Yaka. He's always one call away. He was supposed to be here, but when I saw Mr. Herrera setting up, I did shoot him a text and I told her, okay.
You should have still, man.
No, because he had a prior commitment, but he may have
Okay.
put that aside for us, not the whole genuine else with.
But still an invitation to
I'll be there.
all the media houses in your community.
Because a matter of
Every one of
fact,
them.
what we do
Christian, non-Christian, whatever.
right now, we're also on hot off the
Find
press.
the
Hot off the press
contact
right now.
information.
Because we collaborate. Media houses think people think we
well.
fight. No, we're not fighting. We share information.
Exactly.
I'm thinking that first when I first get that. I don't want.
Okay.
I don't want anybody to say this.
We'll
I
do
don't
that.
know.
We'll do that.
They reach out to me and say, "Why if I appreciate that? We don't want." You know, things
So
like
like how we are here, we could set what date for the election one time so we could put it in our calendar.
Well, you have a set that date.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But you will have to confirm with
Control
the
your people.
first. I don't want to, but bring it forward into
You
this
know, have your
year.
meeting.
I think personally, for the committee and then being the secretary for the committee, if we could just look, we know who active and who is not. We know who should be removed, honestly, and who like we have other people who wants to be there, and the one that is already there is the one that's not showing any interest. So
But you have to do what
if
you
the
have to do.
president chooses to pick a date, I think that should work with just
Yeah,
with
but
those.
the president does have that privilege to do that.
And then
21 days in advance, right?
pass it on to the rest of the court. So what do you think?
So let me know. You have my WhatsApp. You have my
Yes,
contact.
I do.
Just
George Strong is having theirs next week, and I'm coordinating that president there. So
We have a meeting, the executive anniversary committee. We have a meeting.
You want it here?
When is the next meeting?
Yeah, for the purpose.
So yeah, in a month. So we have a fundraising end of this month, and after every fundraiser we have a meeting. So I will throw it out there and make it suggest a date, and then thereafter I'll forward it to you guys.
Moving forward into this year, because well, I am working on a research. I'm working with a colleague of mine in the diaspora who has. We're working towards planning how we're going to go about strengthening the branches. So that's an initial conversation, and so we want to tie that strengthening into when we have everybody in position. Yeah, so that's something that we need to support.
yeah, I want to answer one question on the live right now before this one gone dead. Yes, the meetings for everybody in St. Ignacio, Garinago. Santa Elena and the Cayo area. So for that person who just asked that question, so the meeting is for, so it's for everybody. So it's not just for the executive, it's for everybody. Okay, so you know,
But what we need to do as well, Madam President, try to get some visibility. Get on flags. Have a European flag, a national flag. When we have an event, make it out there, black, yellow, and white, they are all over the place. So I say from distance.
To make this year be a little bit bigger,
Surprise people.
better.
Ask the mayor if you could decorate part of the town with some streamers, black, yellow, and white streamers at the entrance of the town, perhaps, or by the park, or by the welcome. Or try ask them if you
And make them provide this. So much you get
as part of the sponsorship.
Let's come at the cost.
Yes.
But we do the same thing.
You get us some Kwan if you can't get it done here.
Yeah, finances. So much for this.
Yeah, and then you look really good for visibility.
Municipal building.
You only know the flags, but that the streamers songs.
Can we plan for those streamers as well? That's the mayor normally got a big Garifuna flag, the whole of the coast. Right from one top to the next, huge flag.
with that visibility, and people believe that from our
Too big. I mean, I don't think as big as over there. I don't know about that. We have what these guys and we have
with visibility, some people also believe that all of the executive, again, go to that, all the executive, only they want, they talk, that's how our people talk, only they want to do things. So when you have that, you ask other people to be there, you take pictures, you take short videos. Other people in the community, like, I don't know the names, but hey, by the way, put up this flag over, and I want to go put up with it or something like that. But when they see you to do it, I want to just to do it, that people are saying, oh, look at them there again. Then kind of so we behave. They say, oh, the mayor must handle them. They're like, but that's how we behave. So that's how we think. You know what I mean? So in order to change that perception, you have to go to the people and say, why? Saturday we will put up the flag that the town council building, man. You want to roll it with? At least you invite them. Even if they say no. So when they talk the foolishness for Facebook, I say, well, no, you say one never want to come.
When you represent out there, and you call a group for representing out there, so especially then when don't remember where somebody come out there, so we make wine, but make them come out and represent. And everybody's posting that if they can't get one, the girlfriend that she came like this one. No one of them. Africa, that's still part of we. So I mean, make them come out dress up nice and make them stay soap and lot of people like beg for rum. As soon as they start beat, they'll be saying hard to say they hard. What I thought, we have to start talk to them and tell them, hey guys, we represent all them. Ragu wa mahonga. Larry and Lay, we don't take on a break, we don't take only one, but we have to represent out there. You understand? A lot of them call this one yellow cha. Afraid for leave for blood in the good.
Yeah, but again, you say we know our people, we understand our people, but the thing is how to address those situations. We left it alone and we just laugh at it. We left it alone. I think it's cool, so it get worse and worse and worse. Do something about it, They see. Well, for me, I don't got no problem with that. Honestly, they have fun. But you remember for entertainment purposes, and remember we ban naked, So if man want to put on dress, and that's my opinion, right? I have absolutely no problem with it. Man want to wear high heel and they celebrate. They celebrate. They just so I look at it. Sometimes we look at image just to please somebody else's eyes, some other group of people's eyes. It's girl's not supposed to that, girl's not supposed to that. It's just a day that we celebrate. I mean, if they want to wear their wig, wear their wig. That's how I believe. Not
But I don't have an issue with the one with dance and naked ethnicity.
all right. You see it?
That's not my
You see it? So we have to.
So,
Yeah,
like I said, there's a myriad of conversations going on surrounding how we move forward as a people.
Yeah, we have to assess.
And we're not taking on all of these conversations. I, as a president, can't take on everything, and so I choose my battles carefully. And so the things that are important in the first instance are the things that I am addressing at this time. Clearly, capacity building for the branches is paramount, right? Increasing membership is paramount because without our people on board, we can't do nothing. True. Right? We can't do nothing. All of these committees need people. We can't, actually, I want to 50 committee. All that work. Right? So these are the issues that we need to solve. All right? But again, we have to reach out to our people. We have to show them why their participation is important. And again, I would also encourage you to get everybody, all creed, color, race involved because nowadays everybody's like a Garifuna. You don't know who and who the what. And if they're willing to support, then why not leverage that support? If your Mestizo brothers want to join you, then let them join. Right? If your Mayan brothers want to join you, then let them join. Right? But let's not, our mission and vision speaks of harmonization of races. Right? So we have to work through this together as a people, and whatever support is available to us, let us leverage that support so we can advance our agenda. All right. So I know we are out of time, and I want to thank the San Ignacio Santa Elena branch for hosting us. I do appreciate the venue. It's a very nice venue. On the top the venue list as far as our invites have been. And snack list. So obviously that's testament to your leadership. And I applaud you for that. We have to network. We don't have everything, but it's these connections.
Have this meeting again next week.
Right.
Yes,
Rough one
You guys saying that, like before we close out, whenever we have our next meeting right here, the owner, she is very active with the culture as well. She
Would love to meet her.
She loved the
She
Garifuna
here?
culture.
She
She was supposed to attend the meeting, but she has a lot.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, but she.
give her our regards, please.
I sure
Thank
will.
her.
So-
Really appreciate
Yes.
it.
No, come again.
Right up here.
And even was spend a weekend.
With that said, we gotta go. Ayo.